Hi, this is Thalia, and I'm 19 years old, and I'm currently studying the Modern Languages Bachelor at WAPS. And this is my first video project with the topic of environmental concerns, and I decided to talk about the ecological side because I think that first of all we need to know what we are doing with the ecosystem. So I decided to talk about what is an ecosystem and the diversities that an ecosystem has, and of course the different types of ecosystem that we can find all over the earth. And I really hope you enjoy this video because it has many information that maybe could help you to, I don't know, do something with this information that could help the planet. So I just hope you enjoy it. So let's continue.
First of all, we need to know what is an ecosystem. An ecosystem is the set of species in a given area that interact among themselves and with their abiotic environment, through processes such as predation, parasitism, competition, and symbiosis, and their environment to disintegrate and return to being part of the cycle energy and nutrients. Ecosystem species, including bacteria, fungi, plants, and animals, depend on each other. The relationship between species and their environment resulting in the flow of matter and energy in the ecosystem. The meaning of the ecosystem has evolved since its origin. The term coined in the 30s is ascribed to British botanist Roy Clapham and Sir Arthur Townsley. Initially applied to several spatial units, from a piece of weathered trunk, a puddle, a region of the entire biosphere on the planet, as long as they might exist in organism, physical environment, and interactions.
Okay, so that we know what is an ecosystem, we need to know that a scientist, a biologist, Robert Whittaker, he created 3 measures of biodiversity and of this ecological side to know what are the difference between an ecosystem to another. So there are 3 measures or diversities, which are alpha, beta, and gamma. And the first of them is alpha. And alpha is this diversity in which you can divide the species of an ecosystem. This means that if you have an ecosystem, you just need to divide the population of the ecosystem into a species, and then that is a diversity alpha. Then we have the beta diversity, which is some kind of comparison, because then you just have to know the areas. I mean, this is like a grade scale. So then if you have one ecosystem which is in a mountainous area, and then you have some other ecosystem which is in coastal area, then you can know the difference between the species. So obviously the species are gonna be different, and this is the diversity beta. And then we have the gamma diversity, which is more like a geographical diversity. So then you just need to watch the environmental issues that you have in each ecosystem. And actually the gamma diversity has this particular thing that you can add the alpha diversity into the gamma diversity and create a new diversity, but it's not called for another name. It's just like a link between them. So then we are gonna know some other facts that are for us, so let's watch them.
Now that we know what is an ecosystem and the 3 kinds of diversities that can describe and put boundaries between different ecosystems, we have to know that there are some measures to be taken in order to have a good environmental development. During the past 20 years, it has been proposed that natural resource management must be done with an ecosystem approach, including the entire ecosystem, of course. Management should maintain or improve the ecosystem and should provide a variety of goods and services to present and for the future generations. Among the ingredients of ecosystem management are: consider the connections between the various levels of diversity, genus, species, population, ecosystem, and landscapes. Include an appropriate spatial scale to include relevant ecological processes, defining ecological boundaries rather than administrative boundaries. Accept human societies as part of the ecosystem and consider the present needs for maintaining the environment that can meet future needs. Imitating the natural disturbance regime to hold up biodiversity. Maintaining ecological integrity, protecting viable populations of all native species, patterns, and processes.
And well, we have also this ecological restoration. And as I read on this webpage, Society for Ecological Restoration, there are many programs that help people to have more contact with the nature. So this is not just like people trying to do something for nature. It's not like PETA or Greenpeace or something. It's more like that, because sometimes we just think that for help the nature, okay, if we cut down trees, then we are going to go and plant some other trees. But it's not just like that. These kind of societies, they just try to that we realized how the ground, for example, is having erosion, or how the ground is not fertile anymore. So then the trees, they are not going to be able to grow up right there, and that is something that affects us, and it is more common that we thought, that we think. Sorry, and also we have this kind of societies, and it's really interesting how they try to know more about the history of nature. And I was thinking, and I think that is something like the anthropological side of what is the nature. So it's really impressive how people, they are trying to understand what the nature feels, and how the ecosystem, all the ecosystem that were millions of years ago, how they have been changing. And that is really interesting. And also how this kind of help in order to improve the nature, in that it's not only for the nature, it's actually for improve the human conditions, and that is awesome. So, well, for a conclusion, I've learned a lot doing this video project, because I have never thought that this ecological restoration would be so interesting for me. And actually, I would like to, I don't know, have some kind of participation with these societies, because they are really impressive, the work that they have done until these days. So, that's it. I hope you really enjoyed this. You have enjoyed this video project, and if you want to know more about these societies, I'm going to paste a link right there. So we'll see you next time.